Hi, I'm Ray from Intec. I want to review the Supershredz large insulation blowing machine that we produce in partnership with service partners for their customers. I want to show you why the system provides such a good value to an insulation contractor. So we're going to start with the production rates. The system will produce 2,000 pounds of fiberglass per hour, which is about 64 to 65 bags per hour, or over 5,000 pounds of cellulose per hour. So we can load the hopper, which is a very generous 49 cubic feet. You can put about 3 to 4 bags of fiberglass or 6 to 8 bags of cellulose into the hopper. The system itself is powered by a Honda 25 gross horsepower motor. So very large, larger than what we would need for the system, but we want to provide a very good value to the customer. So by oversizing the motors, you can run the Honda typically at about 2/3 to 80% of its capacity, and that's all you need. Similarly, we have a very large oversized blower. When we were sizing the blower, we were looking at two variables. One, well, what size do we really need to power this system? And then number two, how can we make it very, very quiet? So to make it quiet, we looked at various decibel readings of motors. We got a very large blower that we're only running at 2/3 of its capacity. So it's really low from a decibel point of view, and it's a low pitch, kind of like a tenor, so more pleasing on the ears. So the combination of the two provide all that output that we were talking about. Now, to make the blower last as long as possible, we upgraded to a splash lube blower, so you don't have to grease the zerk fitting like every week. You check the oil about every 6 months. Similarly, what we have over here is an inlet air filter, which is also a silencer. So to help get at that noise reduction and to ensure that all the air going into the blower is going to be free of fibrous particles like cellulose or fiberglass that then, if it got into the blower, would shorten its life. But with our inlet air filter, that's not going to happen. On the Honda motor, we provide with the system a ring and then a matching ring that'll go onto the wall of your trailer or your truck. Connecting the two with a 10-inch hose will allow for fresh air to come into the Honda motor. So again, we don't want any fibrous particles getting into the cooling fins, so the motor will act at its optimal operation at all times. For a few other key points that we have. One, we have a one-way valve, so it prevents any potential backup from the airlock into the blower. And then we also have a pressure relief valve. So the pressure relief is going to go off at a preset pressure. So let's say that you're dense packing and the wall cavity is getting full and you got a lot of pressure built up. Well, instead of continuing to press into the wall and potentially cracking the drywall, the pressure relief valve will go off, it's spring activated, and then it'll go back and reset itself. So to prevent any type of potential damage, we have that capability. So now coming across, when we look at how we're going to operate the system and what do we do to make it operate as easily as possible for the user. We'll start with the control panel. So on the control panel, we'll have it where an individual can run the system through a wireless remote. And the wireless remote is actually a very tiny transmitter. You could put it in your pocket, you could put it on your waist, you could put it in a lanyard around your neck. We also provide it in this very strong casing. Many individuals will put it right on their wrist, and then they control the blower and then the agitator from this, or they may even put it onto the hose. You can operate it from a wired remote setting, and we provide Intec's very industrial grade urethane jacketed remote, which is going to be cushioned. And why do we cushion it? Because we know sometimes these are going to end up falling on the ground. And oftentimes that's what will break a wired remote. By having a cushion, this is going to last you for a very, very long period of time. 150 feet becomes standard with the system. If an operator would like to, they can operate the system right from the control panel. They would turn on the blower or turn on the blower and agitator. We have an hour meter that will help you with your preventative maintenance. We also have a flow rate guide, or meter, you could think of it. So if you're doing applications where you want a lot of airflow, you're going to take your airflow and put it down to the maximum flow setting. That would be like for open blow in an attic. Let's say though, if you want to reduce the amount of flow, you just start going upwards and you'll see your meter decrease, so you can really get a good gauge and lock in on wall fill where you want this gauge to be, maybe blow-in blanket or other types of applications where you want to adjust the flow. From that, we come over to how do you control the gate? And so we wanted to make a very quick set gate for you. So you remove a pin, slide this gate out. So we have it running on high density plastic tracks, so it's very smooth, pull it all the way out for attics, or you're going to put it in at some level if you're doing dense pack or wall fill application. You can see we have a large shredder box. Shredder box is very easy to get to. You just remove these bolts and then remove these pins. This piece of Lexan comes out, and when the machine's not running, in the event that you have contaminants from cellulose that got onto your 2 shredder bars, you can now easily access them and clean them up. Also, when we think of the airlock and how important it is to have airlock seals that are functioning appropriately, we wanted to make this as easy as possible for individuals to get to the airlock. So we're going to show you how easy it is. Many systems may take a full day to change your airlock seals. Here, you can get to your airlock seals in about 10 minutes, perhaps about an hour, and you're done changing the airlock seals. We're going to show you how that's done right now.
Hi, today we're going to talk about replacing the seals. What's nice about this machine is it's so easy to get to. You just take out the gas tank, just 4 screws using a Phillips head. Now that the gas tank's removed, we'll move on to the airlock. The front of this airlock is used with this plate. All you need is a 7/16 socket. Now I've already removed some bolts for you to make it a little quicker. After you remove that front plate from the airlock, what you're going to do now is unbolt all these seals from the rotor.
I'd like to show you 2 important accessories that we provide standard with each Supershredz and Supershredz Eco machine. So we're going to start with the fresh air inlet. Number 1, why is it important? The reason we provide the kit is we know that you're working in an environment where there's going to be fibrous dust, either cellulose particles or fiberglass particles. And those particles could find their way down into the inlet of the Honda motor, which then would get sucked into the engine's cooling fan and then get stuck onto the fins that allow the engine to cool. If that were to happen, you're not getting appropriate cooling and your engine's going to run at hotter temperatures than it should. So what we do is we include this ring on the motor, and then what we also provide is this particular assembly, which what an individual will do is, let's say you're going to mount this into a truck or a trailer. You're going to put the system into your truck or trailer, cut a hole in the side of the system. You mount this on the inside wall and sandwich it on the outside wall with this particular fixture. This is going to prevent animals or bad weather from coming into your system. You have this now on the outside of the system, and what we also provide then is going to be this 10-inch pipe, which now you would connect to the outside of your system, coming to your Honda motor, which allows fresh air to come into your system and not the fibrous particles that are going to be on the inside of your van or your trailer. Similarly, what you're going to see over here is a flexible tube. We have mounted a special pipe onto your muffler, connected this flexible exhaust tube, and that allows you to take the flexible exhaust and either route it to the outside wall or keep this inside the system and route it to the outside floor of your truck or your trailer. So those are 2 big benefits. The benefit of this one is you're not going to have carbon monoxide inside your truck or trailer because you're mounting it to the outside. And then we got the fresh air that we talked about. So thanks for supporting Service Partners and Intec.